while I was in the bathroom, there's a couple of instances where he got a little bit louder. I was only in the bathroom for a few seconds. I did hear a kid's voice, so I tried to speed it up. I came out. I didn't see the kid at first. But the kid's on the other side of the street and is almost half a block away now. So, of course, that did make it so that, the kid was pretty close to the bathroom when I heard his voice, and I was hearing that guy say stuff at that point in time just prior. So I figured I'd get back on here and record it some more. This is obviously not the guy that Claire was talking about, or at least I'm fairly certain it's not. But I don't know, the park doesn't close till 10. I thought all the kids were out of here already. I mean, I'm not too worried about the guy attacking a kid. But at the same time, he is kind of scary, and if he does, I'm here. I know a lot of y'all think it's a waste of time, but in many occasions, it has turned out to be absolutely not a waste of time. Better to be sure with as many bodies as I have left in my wake. I know how important it is to be wary. When I'm not heard, people end up dead. That is a fact. Natalie Bollinger is dead because I was not heard. Demetrius Shankling is dead because I was not heard. The officers who perpetrated these crimes got away with it because I was not heard. They got away with it by breaking many, many laws, refusing to allow me any of my legal rights, refusing to give me their names. When I would try to turn them in using their quote-unquote kite system, what happened? Well, the very people that I was trying to turn in would bring the kites back to me and shove them back in my face, shove them under the door, or assault me as a group. I was assaulted on multiple occasions in Boulder County Jail. Over multiple arrests over the same incident where I was the victim. I was the victim of Waylon Lolotai. I was the victim of Natalie Bollinger. I was the victim of Officer Burke, who did not do his job while Natalie was alive when he worked for Broomfield Police Department. He should never, ever had been allowed to touch me. But no, he was a crooked cop. You know what they do with crooked cops, don't you? They let him move to a different department, and it just so happens that Burke, the crooked fucking cop who broke the goddamn law before Natalie was killed, decided it was okay to break the law even more because he thought it was okay to harm me physically and repeatedly. He's one of 4 officers altogether that were there that day with Amanda Jonas. Well, Amanda Jonas being one of them, anyway. And they went out of their way to make sure that it was their word versus mine. Having to do this alone means doing desperate things when people want to talk like they're bored, or when they want to go out of their way to not advocate. Now, all these different agencies, they exist because Department of Health and Human Services is fucking shit at their jobs. But then again, the DHHS workers are trained, fully trained. And the reason they're having the staffing issues that they're having is because even fully trained, they are literally going out of their way in every single case to ignore their training. And it's getting people killed. 5 children every day die in foster care. 5 children every day. Every single day. From malnourishment, from beatings, from illnesses that went unchecked because the government doesn't give a fuck. If nobody is making a big stink, it must be okay. If nobody is making a big stink about it, oh, if it's just the victim making a big stink about it, we'll just call them schizophrenic. We'll call them mentally ill and try to tell the public that they're schizophrenic and pretend that they're schizophrenic. If that doesn't work, we will drag them to a hospital under false pretenses, lie to the hospital, claim that they're schizophrenic, and because we are trusted officers of the law, it will be written. Unfortunately, they're dummies. A police officer telling people that you're schizophrenic is not the same as a doctor diagnosing it. The fact is, I never should have had to do these things alone. I'm here due to government official negligence. And after that negligence came felony after felony after felony. There is a reason that Polly Olson embezzled $18,000 to buy her own personal shit. That's the very same thing, by the way, that her ex-boyfriend and former Dual County Sheriff Jim Hayes got busted for. You can also go into Chapel, Nebraska and ask anybody about his involvement in covering up murders in Chapel, Nebraska, at least one. Polly Olson, after embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars through Dual County Clerk's office in order to assist Scott DaCosta and his deputies in not only committing but also assisting others in committing felonies against me. The fact that the evidence is blatant and obvious. Yeah, after doing all of that against me, of course, she thought that she owed herself a prize as well. If she could embezzle that much money from the U.S. taxpayers in order to pay to have an innocent man harmed and framed for multiple crimes, and none of them stuck, by the way. Not one of them stuck, because no matter what, they don't have any evidence. All they have is slander. But they had to slander my name and coordinate with Nebraska State Patrol to do this, by the way. They had to coordinate so that instead of Nebraska State Patrol meeting me when they were supposed to, there was an extreme safety issue that I had to deal with, in addition to the fact that Officer Jones, or Sergeant Jones, my apologies, never got back to me. Never got back to me. Now, our phone calls are recorded. Some of them are on YouTube, some of them are not. I believe the one that we had that was not on YouTube is actually up now, but I don't know for certain. I'll have to check.
Nebraska State Patrol literally, for over a year and a half, did everything in their power to ignore the crimes committed against me by Scott DaCosta and forced me to go to an officer that they knew I was trying to turn in. They knew that I was told to turn it into them. And they made me turn it into Scott DaCosta. Kept on telling me I had to turn it into Scott DaCosta. No, 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 no. That is entirely, highly inappropriate. Especially when it's a sheriff who's been running around telling people that I'm schizophrenic and trying to convince others to pretend that I'm schizophrenic. Unfortunately for these others, these are other people who, obviously, prior to being falsely charged and falsely arrested, I was trying to turn into the police. I was trying to turn in for their corruption and their abuse. But you guys want to pretend I'm a feller like that guy over there. Now somebody else pulled up in a vehicle, and it's a little teeny tiny, looks like a Black Rabbit or Volvo. Might be a Honda Civic. I don't know. So it's not just me in the parking lot anymore. And I do want to point out that the guy who's talking to himself is still on the bench talking to himself. He's laughing all sorts of crazy too. Too much traffic. Oh, by the way, that other vehicle is a Volkswagen. There's too much traffic going by for me to quite understand what that guy's saying. There are some people who are mentally unstable that will hurt people because they're mentally unstable. But you guys don't know how to tell the difference. You guys see Hollywood unstable. That's an actor, folks. It is very rare that some of us who have lived through this shit will see something on TV with a Hollywood actor that is actually portraying somebody actually going through that. Now, there is one movie that I can speak of just right off the top of my head. It's a movie with Jamie Foxx. I believe it's called The Soloist. Jamie Foxx plays a homeless man, and the guy who wanted to help him, the help that you want to give somebody is not necessarily the help that they need. Sometimes you trying to force them to take the help that you want them to have, and for them to do the things that you want them to do. It is scary to those of us who have had people who are incredibly domineering force us to their will. You will do as we say. You will do as we say. So when people are insisting upon us that we do a certain thing, it is scary. A lot of times your help or your idea of help is not the help that we need. So while we need actual help, we need you to listen to the help that we need. We need you to understand the help that we need and why we need that help. But you're too busy giving us advice, unsolicited advice. I didn't go to any of these people for advice. I came to them for help. Instead of passing judgment on me, look at the evidence and speak. Jesus was lucky. His Judas got him killed. When you tell a disabled and homeless person that if they jump through your expensive ass hoops, you will help them, and they take their time and energy to do that, and you don't help them, you have taken advantage of a disabled person. That is what you have done by law. And I try to explain this to these people. Hey, what you did was wrong. How do you not understand what you did was wrong? How do you not understand? How do you not get that looking the other way or helping my predators to get away? How do you not understand that that is wrong? People are dead because you wanted to look the other way, with many of you. Of course, those of you that I'm speaking to aren't going to watch these videos. There's 2 other vehicles here. I understand the situation with people wanting to have safety at the park after 10. They don't want to find needles and shit all over the fucking place. They don't want to find another fucking body in the bathrooms with a fucking heroin needle in his arm. I get it. But they're going to do it regardless. Well, I was over there in that other parking lot because of how ugly my vehicle is. 2 other people in ugly vehicles pulled up to my vehicle, didn't acknowledge my existence, but they started dealing drugs to each other and having a conversation about God knows what. I didn't understand the words because there was a rolled up window and a closed door in between me and them. And of course, I was trying to listen through my videos, make sure my information is correct. There are times when my words don't come together right, and those are the situations where I'm the most scared in. Well, not the most scared. There are times when I am too petrified to speak. My mouth won't work. That guy there, he's not a super scary feller. His mannerisms are, but I don't know what he's gone through. I do know that when I talk, I'm not talking to thin air. I'm talking with a purpose. And some of you are going to try to do this whole, oh, you're talking to your phone, there's nobody else there. You know what? It's a big difference. There's literally nobody that he's reaching out to in that vicinity. He is literally not talking on the phone. The problem is it's 1,000 times more difficult when you make a disabled homeless victim of long-term abuse go in to turn in their predators alone. When you make them turn their predators in alone, they get blown off. I had gone to the police on multiple occasions by the time Natalie got her brains blown out. Now, when this shit started, did I try going to the cops? Fuck no. Hell no. I already knew how it was going to go with the cops. I followed my training. When you're being bullied, you go to the bully and you tell him how you feel and you ask him to stop. If the bullying is from a rumor, you go to the source of that rumor. You tell him how it makes you feel and you ask him to stop. If that doesn't work, safety in numbers. Go to your friends. Walk with your friends. Have your friends go with you. And of course, you're supposed to go to a teacher or a preacher or a parent or a police officer. But that's not what you're supposed to do first. You say, hey, you don't want to get the cops involved unless it's an absolute emergency. A lot of the cops, their advice to me before Natalie was killed was to try to settle it out of court. Here's the thing. I'm coming to you because I already tried that, stupid. Well, can't you, do the adult thing and talk to each other like adults? No, I'm trying. The reason I'm coming to you, police officers, is because I failed. When you tell me to do it again, that's still what I have to do. Fine, that's what I'll do. I will do as I am instructed. Because if I don't do what the cop tells me, you pretend I didn't try. But then there's those instances where I have been abused and I'm trying to tell the officer and they're still telling me to try to settle it out of court. Like, I'm trying, they're not willing, which is why I'm coming to you. If it was just one person, if it was just one girl in Virginia, it wouldn't be a fucking problem because, of course, I was not in Virginia. I was in Colorado and Nebraska being fucking victimized and harassed and fucking threatened and having my family threatened. So no, I am not going to shut up, and I'm also not going to pretend that I'm one of those people just to make you fucking happy. I'm also not going to pretend my life is fucking wonderful and nothing bad fucking happens ever to make you fucking happy just because you don't want to fucking hear it. Don't ask me how my day was if you don't want an honest fucking answer. If you don't actually give a shit, no, that's the point right there. People don't give a shit. They literally want you to lie to them. They expect you to lie to them, and if you don't lie to them, they punish you for it. If you don't say, my day is great, how about yours? Or it's fine, how about yours? At least it's sunny out. That's all small talk. And you notice I try small talk, but it's fucking stupid. There is no fucking purpose to it. You are filling fucking space with nothingness. You're not fixing anything. You're not changing anything. You're just fucking talking. I always speak with purpose. I always speak with intent. And when I am forced to go to extremes, I have already tried every fucking avenue that I have been told to go to and then some. Anyway, there's other vehicles here in the parking lot. I'm not interested in sticking around for their drug deals. So I'm driving somewhere else. There's no kids here, and there shouldn't be any more kids coming here tonight. There's also homeless people who stop here to use the bathroom. Homeless people that, well, they live in their vehicles, so they have an issue that most people that are homeless that don't have vehicles don't have. They can go to sleep anywhere. They don't have to worry about where to park their car. They can crawl into a bush and just pray to God that they don't get busted. But once you've got a car full of evidence that if shown in court will reverse all of this bullshit. It will get the actual evidence in there, and it will get these people who broke these laws, who committed felonies, not only to me outside of court, but also in court, committed multiple felonies. You guys want to talk about corruption and cleaning it up? Well, you're lazy bitches. You're not cleaning up shit. You're just bitching. Be ever vigilant, motherfuckers. Someone put that on a shirt for me. Anyway, that guy crashed. I spoke with him today, and we got that recorded. I also got the audio recording, so it's useful. I gotta try to come up with money to find a place for a computer to be able to do something. I also absolutely got to worry about my safety. I have to worry about the safety of those around me, because if anything happens to them, people are going to point fingers at me because of false charges and things I was never allowed to defend myself against. You tell me I have to do it by myself, despite overwhelming evidence, not just from me, but from other victims and from yourself, that I'm not fucking allowed. I'm not allowed to do these things for myself. If I try to do these things for myself, then my predators in law enforcement will do whatever they can to cut me off from the resources needed to do so. And yes, it's criminal. Yes, it is felonious, especially when they're doing it to hide the multitude of crimes that they have committed. But somebody's got to give a shit enough to look at it and fucking speak up. And they have to speak up to the public as well. See, that's the problem with people letting it go as long as they did, telling me to be patient, be patient, be patient. That's right, well, be patient until the statute of limitations is over and I can no longer take these son of a bitches to court. Be patient while I'm spending my money on what you tell me to spend my money on to get your help. And then instead of you helping me, I end up being the one who's doing all the helping. Ken and Leah loved doing that. Taking advantage of me, starting fights. And of course, they gang up on you. It's a husband and wife team. They're common law married. Jayhawk, one of the people on my channel who speaks about Ken and Leah, speaks also about several of the murders in Boulder and in Denver, about how the system does work there. He went missing. Ken and Leah never ever moved the kind of volume that Ted Bollinger did as far as drugs go. Ted Bollinger, in order to keep that business there open, had to push a lot of cocaine, had to push a lot of meth, had to push a lot of heroin, and he had to push it in bulk. He had to push quantity. He had to have bigger customers that come in and out. They might even come in, buy a haircut, and go out. Ted Bollinger's just a middleman. He gives the drugs to people in houses. The people in the houses distribute it to homeless junkies. And the homeless junkies distribute it on the streets to more homeless junkies and people in houses. Ted Bollinger also was trying to get his daughters into the drug trade, had them out there at 13 years old. How did I beat Natalie and Alicia Bollinger? Was it because I was stalking them on the internet when they were 13, like some of these places claim? No, it's because they were selling fucking drugs for their dad to heroin junkies that I knew, some of whom were friends of mine. They never bothered to tell me that that's the person they were getting their fucking drugs from, or I'd have turned Natalie and Alicia in. There's also Alaska, Donald McNeese. He had an apartment. We keep giving all these apartments that should go to people who are actually trying to better their lives and get out of that situation. Like some of these pregnant women that myself and, well, many others work together to help get unhomeless. They're giving this housing to addicts that are on the street, and you think it's going to make it better. No, it's not. Pretty soon you got 8 heroin junkies nodding off. One of them dies, and they have to go try to find a place to dump the body so they don't lose housing. Or the person who owns the house overdoses, and everybody's got a split. Pretty soon, cops show up to 400 different fucking fingerprints. They can't make heads or tails of it. They're never gonna find the fucking killer. What's the killer? An overdose. I gotta start up my car and make sure my electronics are on. See, there's a lot of stuff that's just filler, a lot of because just in case situations like this. Sure, it takes up space on my YouTube channel of stuff that's not related to Natalie or missing people, but really it is. This vigilance is what stops things from happening. Having somebody there to prevent it from happening to begin with. Having a guard, armed and trained, at your school is a good thing. Having a trained killer like a veteran is a little bit scary. Also, recently I've been encountering a lot of veterans who are cowards or bullies. They're pulling some screwy fucking bullshit. As far as Molly goes, I have to turn in Molly and Tom together. All of the evidence does show that they have been obviously working together. Tom is going out of his way to obviously do stupid things, not caring about the consequences for others. About how it's not just him being victimized by that woman, it's also me. and that all of the victimization that I have taken from her is because of him. Every bit of it is because I tried to help him. But he doesn't have the balls to fucking say it like it is. He claims he does, but then, of course, when she's there and he's talking to her in front of me, it's more meek. So it's fairly certain he's not telling me the things that he said. He's telling me the things that he'd wished that he had told her. The things that he would have said if he actually did have the balls to stand up to her. I don't think he ever actually said those things. How true is that? If I've got recordings of a man saying something, then it would make it true, wouldn't it? If I have him recorded saying exactly what it is that I said that he said, doesn't that sound complicated? If I have the recording of him saying it, that is proof that he said it. The fact that this situation and the things that he has told me and the abuse that I have taken, because that shit should go to the police. Not just the abuse against him, but also the abuse against me, and the fact that he is aware of it and has been aware of it, and is aware that it began because I tried to help him. And she has been doing this ever since. The cops will come and harass me whenever she wants to fucking pull her bullshit. Now we've got, what, half a dozen people on my YouTube channel? More than that now. More than half a dozen people. Talking about the very same shit out of the very same woman. And yes, it is a dangerous situation. I'm thankful that Dallas was there the other night to let me know it was up, because that cop, yeah, I was not gonna have her fucking coming over to me right after the cop fucking leaves, especially when, well, I got lucky having the cop there, because I can't call 911 myself and expect them to do anything. We've got too many recordings with 911 not doing their fucking jobs either, don't we? Once in a while we get somebody who tries to do their job, and then they are cut off by their supervisors from doing so, I would assume. But that's just an assumption. What made these people who were going to do their jobs decide not to? When you're blackballed by law enforcement, it ain't no joke. Meanwhile, I'm being blackballed over an assault by Will and Lolatai, who, well, assaulted no less than 6 other people after assaulting me, and also had a history of assaulting people before me. But then again, Tony Kovaleski and his contact, Darren O'Connor, selectively chose to ignore the assault against me, or the fact that I was still speaking out about it. Darren O'Connor, for years, was going to help us to get video equipment so that we could record these situations. And so that we could record people's stories. Well, now I'm actually doing it. I'm doing a shitty fucking job because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't have the resources for goddamn sure to do it properly, nor the training. In order for me to learn this shit, I need to not be in a fucking state of crisis because I'm in goddamn survival mode and I'm gonna fucking lose everything if I don't get more fucking money. Money, 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 money. That's the thing about people like, well, Genevieve. Taking this many goddamn years just to have a fucking phone call with me. Years. Just so I could get her to admit that, yes, I did go to her for help. And of course, I got her reasons recorded as well, and they're up as well. I didn't just tell you the stories, I recorded the instances and I posted them. The actual truth, the actual events, the actual words, the things that these son of a bitches literally committed felony after felony after felony and worked together across multiple jurisdictions with my predators to prevent it from being shown in court, but at least it's on the internet where you can see it. I got a fucking shit ton of anxiety. It's been a rough day. Well, the police are going out of their way not to do their jobs. There are people like, of course, Dallas, who, well, not just Dallas, it's also his friend Luke. Luke was the one with the 2 accounts that was tag teaming at me. I had originally given credit to Dallas for that, but still, I am thankful for the situation. And the fact that all those youngins in that vehicle fucking decided to actually try to help a brother out. Especially after her coming up to their vehicle and freaking them out. Trying to play like I was the one beating on vehicles. That's right, Molly does something fucked up and then she wants to go trying to convince other people that I was the one who had done it. She is trying to get me harmed. Now that guy earlier that we spoke with, Crash, who was assaulted because people were saying he was a pedophile. Well, people actually looked at his fucking evidence, but he's a local. He knows people here. Now, I asked him if he was homeless. He is. I asked him if he went in alone. He said he didn't. But he also said that, well, this Officer Reeves, who also, as it turns out, is crooked, yeah, apparently you can give drugs to a minor in front of him and he will tear up a ticket. For the life of me, I don't know why people tell me these stories. They're so fucking far-fetched and hard to believe. But what's not hard to believe is actual hard evidence. And yes, he showed me his phone and his quote-unquote friend, who is not his friend anymore, is calling him a pedophile over and over and over again. He doesn't get to defend himself against that. He told me he was assaulted on multiple occasions yesterday. Today he tells me the cop helped take care of it. The cop that likes him, though. It's not what you can show, it's who you know, apparently. But I'm glad that the people that victimized him and assaulted him are prevented from doing so again. With Molly, this situation is frequent and ongoing. Molly is, in my personal opinion, more dangerous than the man on the bench. But that's just an opinion, because I do believe the man on the bench is unstable enough to fucking snap on somebody. Anyways, 44 minutes into this video. I've been here a while. I'm going to go somewhere to park where I will probably get in trouble for it, but I'm hoping I get lucky. Familiarity is important, so as not getting caught with your pants down. When cops catch you alone, there's a chance it'll be a much bigger situation and a much more fucked up story. I've been lucky enough to be in public every time the police came and spoke with me. A very public place. It's different when they know that there's nobody around and may not be anybody for miles around, or there's not likely to be any traffic there that time of night. It's a much different scenario. That's when you're the easiest to victimize. That's when they can get a shitty attitude. That's when they can beat you down, and that's when they can shoot you in the head and claim that you're trying to reach for their gun. The situation is ongoing, and at this point, police have harassed me formally on multiple occasions already. The fact that police are helping my predators, that is intimidating, and that I am scared, and that they are blowing me off and ignoring my disabilities, pretending that I'm not disabled, we're goddamn sure if I'm able to get some of this shit going and actually turned in against these officers, they're going to change their tune. They're going to do a 180 and say he's obviously schizophrenic. That's what cops do. They know what bias to play on to get away with their felonies. Same as the rest of y'all. That guy is the only guy here now. There aren't any kids at the park though. And it is 8:12. It's unfortunate that I buried a lot of important evidence and a lot of important conversations with stuff like this, but again, it is a scary situation and it is important to document it. Writing it down is not proper documentation. Recording it is proper documentation. You'll get the words wrong. You will intentionally mistranslate what people say if it doesn't benefit you. Yeah, I don't fucking trust your words. I don't. If you want me to keep secrets, your words are not to be trusted. If you want me to be silent about the abuse against me because your pride is fucking hurt, or you don't want your pride to be fucking hurt, you don't want people to think less of you, I shouldn't care what other people think. People literally assisted my predators in getting away with felonies, including killing people, because their fucking pride was hurt. Because they didn't come forward and tell the truth, because they were afraid to, because they're fucking drug dealers and they didn't want that being brought up in court. Well, I figure if you admit to being a fucking drug dealer, that your words should be admissible in fucking court. You're pretty fucking honest. I was accused of making dozens of accounts to harass Natalie. Nope, I made one account to try to get help stopping the abuse, and I made one account to try to get rid of my Facebook and commit suicide afterwards. It didn't work, so I used it to make one last desperate attempt to ask Natalie, Alicia, and Maddie to fucking tell the truth, and I gave them all my number. But here's the thing. These web sleuths and nut jobs went out of their way to destroy that evidence so I don't have access to it. Do you know how illegal that is? And yes, there is proof of it. There is proof that people are still trying that to this day. Mandy Singer was there while people were doing it and typing that shit. While they were doing it. She was there when people sent me friend requests from fake accounts that were created by my predators. They've been doing this shit since before Natalie was killed. And you guys want me to feel bad for heroin junkies. You know, I do feel bad for them, but I feel even worse for the innocent people whose lives they destroy. And the fact that you allow even them to take advantage of at-risk adults. If they're going to claim that I am so mentally ill that I don't know up from down, left for right, or what it constitutes as far as being punched in the fucking face, if they want to pretend that I am that fucking crazy in order to prevent evidence from being shown in fucking court, they're not allowed to pretend that I'm sane to sentence me. Due to the fact that every single one of these cases is based on officers lying and other predators of mine that I have evidence of being predatory towards me. I've got the evidence that shows that they fucking lied. Who's going to look at it? Who's going to help me to share that? None of you. It's just entertainment to most of you. And then there's the trolls who get on my channel frequently and often. They said call 911. I have to be afraid to call 911. You get to see how when I call 911, I'm victimized like a motherfucker. But if I call 911 to turn in a crime against somebody else, they might listen. As far as Tom goes, you know, maybe he's just a coward. But even if he's doing this stuff out of cowardice, it's still aiding and abetting. It is still taking advantage of an at-risk adult. It is still abuse. It is still harassment. And if Tom is going to assist her in getting away with that, well, Tom is already aware that he's not to be around my things, around my vehicle. Because the next time he disappears and Molly decides to come fucking victimize me and fucking beat on my shit and call the fucking cops because he's not being her bitch for 10 fucking minutes, does he not understand the hell that she puts me through? And the hell that law enforcement in this town has put me through because he's a little bitch. Tell me to move elsewhere. Always move elsewhere. When you're victimized, move elsewhere. You don't stop to consider what it costs. Or that I live on a fixed income that is not enough for somebody to live on for a month, let alone move every fucking month. Repeatedly. Some months. Oh, looks like we got a car accident up here. On the bright side, I'm in the far right lane, so since there's no traffic coming, I can drive. God, that fucking rattling is killing me. On the bright side, hopefully 2 or 3 more days of driving on it, and it'll just be ground down enough that it barely hits the ground. I can't get underneath there to fucking fix it. I don't have any money for materials to fix it with. My back is fucked up, and I need fucking help. I can't just ponder on. She's one of many people who fucked up as far as her profession goes, as well as fucked up as far as being a mandated reporter goes. And she committed felonies, bud. border thing is just a misdemeanor, both in the state of Nebraska and Colorado. But the fact that she didn't give me my paperwork and that she withheld information about abuse against me that she was aware of, that she intentionally misled a situation allowing murderers to go free, you think she's going to admit to that shit? No, she's not. None of these people are going to admit that them lying to me and lying about me and misleading situations has led to further abuse. But then again, the situations that I speak of, I've got the evidence of not only their bullshit, but also the abuse. I keep trying to get these people to look at evidence who say that they can't look at evidence, or that they, of course, like with the Monica thing, she'll only look at the evidence when the cops are there. Well, then you're completely unprepared, Monica. How are you going to advocate when you don't know shit? Now, the situation with Tom has prevented me from getting help from Monica as well. And that part isn't her fault at all. And those situations are not her fault at all. All right, where am I going to park? There's people that, there's situations they were aware of that impacted this situation and my situation. And of course, they fessed up to some of that. But then there's the part where they want to say, oh, well, you're blaming me. You're blaming me. No, I'm not, actually. If I'm being abused because you didn't come forward about it, that's what you're being blamed for. If you wasted my time and resources promising me that you were going to help me, you didn't keep your word, well, that right there is also why you are not my friend. You're not my friend. You are not my friend. Actually, this end of the parking lot is a little too close to where Molly hangs out. So I am going to drive to the other end of the parking lot. There's also a couple of folks over there staring at my canoe. It's a good looking canoe. Or kayak. Oh, that is all sorts of special. Had 3 people staring at me at once. Now we've gotten to hear other victims talking about being in survival mode, and we've also gotten to hear the crisis line talking about being in survival mode, but I called the crisis line because I needed to turn some crimes in, not just... What do these crisis lines do? They just listen to you, bitch, and they've got a time limit of how long they're allowed to listen. When you got to turn shit into the cops and you need help doing it, yeah, that's not what they're going to do. They're going to tell you to go to those places on Monday, like always, not caring about the safety issue that has been created, or the fact that all weekend I have to, well, operate with the understanding that I can't go to the cops. I cannot go to the cops alone. It cannot be allowed. It is too large of a safety risk to allow it. Also, if I had one wish for equality, I'd wish that women could grow beards, because it feels so good tickling your beard and stretching your beard. Oh my God. The only thing better is when somebody else scratches your beard. Be safe. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.